Hi, welcome to San Francisco Weekly News, or San Francisco News TV, whichever is best for you. We occupy both of those names. My name is Diane Wesley Smith, and I want to thank you for joining us. What we're going to talk about first, our first story is the Pan African Games athlete, and this young lady that you see there, she was given 12 months of probation for protests against racism and gun control. Pan American Games athlete Race Imboden and Gwen Berry both protested on stage in Lima, Peru, and were sentenced to 12 months of probation for their actions. The head of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee warned of harsher punishments in the future if any other athletes who might protest on stage. The Washington Post reported. Imboden took a knee on the podium after he helped the U.S. men's foil team win gold, and Berry raised a fist, as you see depicted here, and bowed her head as the rendition or as the playing of the Star Spangled Banner neared its close. So she just raised a fist, bowed her head as the Star Spangled Banner closed. Star Spangled Banner closed. People, just in case if you don't know, the reason people are kneeling, it is to protest racism. It is to protest the need for gun control. It's to protest mass murders. It's protesting human life. It's protesting the indignities that African Americans and other people of color are suffering. It's to protest what poor people are suffering of all colors around the world. So that is why we posted that, because 12 months probation for protesting, and then they want to scare people by scare athletes and let them know by stating that if anyone else does it, there'll be harsher punishments. Well, when we stand for what we believe in and we stand up, there's a price to pay, so we must be willing to pay it. And usually when we stand, we are willing to pay it. We want to continue to talk about the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard, and the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard, the pollution that's there. The first one used the keep out sign. This keep out sign, you see me show this a lot because there's radioactivity, there's cancer causing agents, I said radioactivity. But people are still selling. The New Redevelopment Commission, which is the OCII, just approved new construction, as we mentioned in our last show, new construction of uncontaminated land. Okay, so the community, excuse me. The community, let me show you this picture, you guys. Sorry. Okay, well, the community is at Hunters Point Shipyard has developed a bio-monitoring program. And this bio-monitoring program has been developed by Dr. Ashima Sumchai. And excuse me for the mispronunciation. I still have to work on that. What we are talking about here is because the government will not help us. The government will not come in and perform any testing. They just aren't doing anything. So We have to establish our own biomonitoring program. And it was developed by Dr. Tompkins and Dr. Porter, as you see pictured here. Let me read some information to you. I want to remove that picture, but I'm unable to do that at the moment. Okay, the biomonitoring program, let me just read to you about the biomonitoring program. And we have the Hunters Point Biomonitoring Program was launched as a screening pilot initiative in 2019. The program incorporates in its implementation the intersecting priorities of advancing environmental public health through community-based screenings. Because the government won't, we the people will. This is a picture of Dr. Roy Tompkins conducting some soil sampling on his own. We have now a GoFundMe page so that we can sample the soil ourselves. Dr. Porter Shumchai, it's Shumchai, Shumchai, and Dr. Tompkins, or two doctors that we trust. They have been they developed the community biomonitoring program. The community exposure research incorporate, and the reason they've done that is the public health through, it's an implementation intersecting the priorities of advancing environmental public health through community-based screenings, bolstering the effectiveness of community exposure research, and optimizing delivery of quality medical care. We have yet to receive quality medical care. We have yet to see the residents who have already, and homeowners in some cases, who have already purchased property. We have yet to see them. We don't see them. We've yet to see any remediation. So in other words, if you bought property, I'm speaking now as a real estate broker, so I'm going to put my real estate broker hat on. If you bought property in the Hunters Point Shipyard, which is HPSY, if you bought property in the Hunters Point Shipyard, then the problem is you bought property that's contaminated, and you should be reimbursed, or they call it remediation. It should be made right, or there should be reparations, which is correcting that which is wrong. There's been, so we need the delivery. So the community is doing, it has to do it for themselves until we get the proper help from our local, state, and national elected representatives. Community exposure research incorporating the new science of biomonitoring was started in 2009 through a partnership between Bayview Hunters Point activist scientists, and Dr. Roy Tompkins was one of those, and UCSF School of Medicine, Professor of Pediatrics Kara Miller, MD, and a research team including California State University and California Biomonitoring. Research has found Bayview Hunters Point, located in the 94124 zip code, is heavily industrialized and trafficked southeast San Francisco. We know this. It has quadrupled the number of toxins generated in any other city neighborhoods by polluting industries, highways, underground petroleum storage tanks, and federal and the federal Superfund site. Construction activities and toxic air contaminants contribute to San Francisco's highest incidence of particle pollution. More significantly, the burden of cardiopulmonary disease documented in 94124 zip codes exceeds that of any other nearby neighborhoods and includes fibrotic lung diseases linked to both smoking and exposure to air pollution. A lot of people that are getting lung disease or fibrotic lung diseases never smoked. Oh, it's usually linked only to smokers. But now it's, in this case, it's the exposure to the air, the pollution. The Superfund site at the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard offers a unique opportunity for implementation of a human biomonitoring program, given the extensive documentation of chemicals of concern linked to adverse health effects generated by a stationary source and well-documented paths for exposure to the adjacent community. What does that mean? That means that that means that we do not have what that means, folks. You know what? I'm really upset about this. This is just really too much. It's really too much. But I'm going to read this to you, okay? But just keep in mind, that we have a serious problem here in San Francisco. We have a very serious problem. It's at the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard. It is a Superfund site, and it's a Superfund site because of the heavy pollution by the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard, by the Navy. The Hunters Point Biomonitoring Program is a wonderful program. This is a program that's necessary. And there again is the good doctor. The area is, it's horrific, you guys. It is horrific. They cannot come up with the money to properly research this, to make sure that the area is clean. We just, so it's a horrific time for us. Let me just leave this information up here for you. Okay, you're not getting that. Let me see. I want to get some information for you. Okay. Well, anyway. So, what we have going on, you guys, is there's no cleanup yet. We have a program. This is what we want you to do is go to the GoFundMe page. It's called it's www.hunters-point-community-bio-monitoring-program. Okay, it's very important because otherwise it's just basically just keep out of the Hunters Point Shipyard. And we do hope that people will receive some restitution because we have not had comprehensive urine element profile screening. There are test kits, and the test kits. So it also, there's a kit, and it's a CUEP panel, and it includes tests for many major toxic metals and radioactive particles known to be present in industrialized neighborhoods and high-tech workplaces. The CUEP, which also detects deficiencies deficiencies of important nutrients like iron, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and zinc. Participants undergo an in-depth analysis and explanation of test results and are given follow-up and referral services. The Hunters Point Biomonitoring Program has detected elevations in numerous chemicals of concern to date, including including 3 members of a nuclear family presenting with headaches and nosebleeds, and elevated aluminum levels in a recycling plant worker with elevated airways, with reactive airways disease and throat cancer. Additionally, arsenic and copper is statistically significant, and statistically significant elevations have been detected. So this is an opportunity for you to do your part. Big money talks, but so do we the people. So it is time for we the people to make our voices heard. Because if our voices are not heard, then the best way right now, first of all, to have our voices heard is to have the biomonitoring program fully funded. So go to the GoFundMe for the Hunters Point Community Biomonitoring Program. Secondly, let's get some city money. This is ridiculous. They want to do all this construction. Their organizations, there's so many companies. They want to do everything but clean up the shipyard. As we speak, they're still building. They're still placing people out there. They're marketing. We're going to talk about the marketing campaign. But first, I want to make sure that you're fully educated and fully aware, because it is so ridiculous that there would be a marketing program that does not include any disclosures, that cannot be trusted. Very simply, again, that's a picture of Dr. Roy Tompkins. He is a community activist and one of our doctors. So we need him. And we need this lady. This lady, this picture, I'm sorry, that's not coming up. But we need our doctors. Okay, we have to do something about this at Hunters Point Shipyard. It's poisonous. People, it does say again, the poisoning, the radiation, the cancer-causing agents, the throat cancer. It is absolutely, it's just sad, folks, and it's unacceptable. Let me see, what else do I need to tell you about today? Okay. So, let's talk a little bit more about community activist, educator, and scientist Raymond Tompkins. That's who's shown there. This Dr. Raymond Tompkins was the first person to call to our attention. That our attention, meaning the Bayview Hunters Point real estate brokers, meaning the Bayview Hunters Point community, and he was the first person that called to our attention, and then he connected with many other doctors. But my point is this. This is a picture of him analyzing soil samples with middle school students. That's a level of commitment that we need, folks. We need a serious level of commitment to save lives. Biomonitoring, what it is, it's the next logical step. It's the next logical, critical step for us to take in addressing threats to public health. Senator Deborah Ortiz, Democratic senator from Sacramento. She's sponsor of Senate Bill 680, the Healthy California Biomonitoring Program. We're going to talk more about that on our next show. The Healthy California Biomonitoring Program. But meanwhile, rather than let's talk about it on the next show, why don't you read about it for yourself? Because you have to know. You have to know for yourselves. You must. It's imperative. According to the, in March of 2009, scientists of the Community First Coalition, in partnership with academic researchers, submitted a letter of intent to apply for $2 million in funding from the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences to conduct research in Bayview Hunters Point. Community exposure research draws upon the powerful new science of biomonitoring to establish cause and effect relationships between toxins in the environment, their detection, and disease expression among members of an exposed community. According to the National Academy of Sciences, The environmental health is the science and public health practice focused on the relationships between the environment and human health. During the environmental health movement, which is still going on in South San Francisco, which is where that's the last remaining African American community held within Southeast San Francisco. We have a designated area. Oh, and also the mission. Our mission district has a designated mission cultural district. Here, here. Every community needs to have one. And also, let me interject. We still need markers for the cultural district. Malik would love to see, and other artists would love to see some ideas from you. But we'll talk about that at another time, or please reach out to me. Okay, so during the environmental health movement, which is during this environmental health movement in San Francisco, we have a clear sense of urgency and duty to protect the current and future generations from an avalanche of toxic chemicals linked to cardiopulmonary diseases, cancers, neurological and immune diseases, behavioral disorders. Don't tell me you can't go through Hunters Point and not see cancers, neurological problems, immune diseases, behavioral disorders, birth defects, and infant mortality rates. The investigative team, which includes Dr. Sumchai, Dr. Tompkins, and many others, they're offering leadership in San Francisco, and we need to take it to save lives. We must take it. Excuse my emotionalism, but we're attending quite a few funerals and have been for a while, and it's all been related to the environment. And it won't stop unless we stop it. So the community, we must have the biomonitoring program. We must have the Hunters Point biomonitoring program. Okay, so let me just show you this again. See, excuse me. This picture, nothing should be sold anywhere near this area, because we're also talking about the affected areas. However, just keep out. I strongly advise you to keep out. I strongly advise you to contact our city representatives, because we need the $2 million funding from the National Institute on Environmental Health. So we're going to have to wage a campaign. Let me find out exactly how we need to do that, and we will be back in touch with you. Meanwhile, do some research for yourself, because people are dying because of the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard. And we can stop it. No one's coming. We're going to have to do it. Thank you for joining us. And stand or kneel for what you believe in. Whatever you believe in, stand or kneel for it. Those are samples of, we need soil testing. We need a Hunters Point biomonitoring program. We must have it. So we've started, but we need $2 million easily, just to even so. Anything else is not acceptable. And if you have any questions about anything, contact the National Institute on Environmental Health, or go on to GoFundMe.com/Hunters Point Hunters Point Community Bio Monitoring Program. Again, We've got to do it ourselves, so let's all pitch in. Let's all pitch in on the GoFundMe page, gofundme.com /Hunters Point Community Viral Monitoring Program. Okay, let's do what we need to do to take care of ourselves, because no one's coming unless we make them come. How do we make them come? We get active and we stand up for ourselves and for future generations. Current residents, my heart goes out to you. What can be done, we will do. And we invite you to unite with us. People that have purchased property there under the guise of, and without understanding what you were purchasing, call 415. You call the Bayview Hunters Point Real Estate Professionals. We're currently meeting and discussing the exact strategic, the implementation of strategy to address the reparations for people that purchased property in the contaminated Hunters Point Naval Shipyard. The phone number is 415-647-BVHP for Bayview Hunters Point. 415-657-BVHP. I want to thank you for joining us. Stay strong, fight the good fight. We will not stop. Also, pay attention to the Senate bills. There's some Senate bills, you guys, they're rushing through today. 1487, AB 1487, and SB 330. There are several others. Please go online. I've given you the information before. If you don't remember, go online and to Sacramento, find out who your internet search and find out who your representative is, and contact them, or find out how many of them there are and contact them and let them know that you will not have them passing sneaky legislation. We must have legislation that is going to protect the vulnerable in our society. Who are the most vulnerable that need protection? The poor, the middle-aged, seniors, the disabled, children, families. Stay strong. Keep the faith. There is another side to this. Do your part. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.